I would say definitely have a vision, incorporate each other in that vision, and communication has to be at a very, very high level. Transparency.
That's right.
Yes, and define roles, like who is doing what, so y'all don't bump heads, and y'all are double, crossing each other up. So define your roles in the business.
Okay.
And understanding each of those roles, you are your own CEO. Yeah, coming together. She's a boss. I'm a boss. We're coming together to make this work. So if you keep that in mind and keep you humble and working together.
Welcome to the Boomlennial Podcast, hosted by the dynamic duo cousins, Chi and Dee. This podcast celebrates the synergy between a millennial and a baby boomer, showcasing the fusion of generational leadership, insights, and real-life experiences.
We'll unveil strategies not to just survive, but thrive as leaders in an ever-evolving world. Let's ignite the transformation we inspire to see in ourselves, our teams, and our businesses. Let's get started.
What's up, family? Welcome back to another exciting episode of the Boomlennial Podcast, your go-to station for real talk on entrepreneurship, business leadership, and real estate insights. I'm Chi.
And I'm Dee, and today we're going to dive into a juicy conversation about real love, real estate, building a legacy together.
Well, Dee, before we get started, in February, we wrapped up our 28-day financial discipline challenge. I'm proud to say that I didn't use my credit card at all during the month of February.
Good for you.
Thank you very much. Now, it was I had a little temptation when it came down to paying my HOA fees because, I love getting those reward points. Mm-hmm. But I wanted to practice what I preach, so I didn't use it. Okay.
Good.
How did you do?
So let's just say I did okay. As you know, I definitely was tested because I love my gas. I drive all around Atlanta all day. So pumping gas, things like that was a bit of a challenge, but I made it through.
Okay. That's great. That's great. Well, for me, it was all about breaking the habit of swiping without thinking. Mm-hmm. And to our listeners, how did you do? Whether you crushed it or hit a few bumps along the way, the goal is to make sure that you try to become financial disciplined and not just as just make it a lifestyle. How about that? And keep those good habits going so that you can be on your path to financial freedom.
I agree. And yes, because if you joined us during the challenge, we're making this a thing for the rest of the year. So a new challenge every quarter. What do you think about that?
I love that. And I just want to reemphasize, it's not a thing of financial discipline, meaning we can't use credit cards, right?
Challenge.
Okay, very good. Okay. We're good with that.
Okay.
We good with that? Yes. Okay.
Great.
I love it.
So leaders, stay tuned because we're about to grow together as a community. And that's the whole point of this show.
Well, I love it. And let's go ahead and get to today's topic. So we're talking about building wealth, relationships, and legacy together. And we've got the perfect guest for this conversation.
Agree. We have some really special guests today.
Ooh. Well, first up, let's welcome Lakisha Knight to the show.
Hello.
Not only is Keisha my girl, but she's also a powerhouse realtor. She actually is the, oh my gosh, hold on, cut. Because my phone went away. It went off. Sorry. It went to blank. Where's my bio? I'm at least tell you. Yeah. Keisha is the CEO of Knight Luxury Group. Okay. First up, let's welcome Lakisha Knight to the show.
Woo! Hello.
Not only is she my girl, but she's also a powerhouse realtor. Lakisha is CEO of Knight Luxury Group. She has her real estate career. She started her real estate career in 2013. She used to be a corporate girl, just like Dee and I. She was in marketing, held down positions at the Home Depot, but then she migrated over to entrepreneurship and she is killing it. Keisha actually is one of the founding members of a top top producing Black-owned agency with Keller Williams, West Atlanta. But that's not it. Lakisha's also a real estate investor making major moves with her significant other.
And speaking of significant other, I have the pleasure to introduce Shannon Miller to the show. Thanks for joining us.
How's everybody doing?
Shannon is a results-driven entrepreneur, real estate investor, business strategist, and basketball trainer.
Okay.
Absolutely.
You got hoops. Dedicated to building wealth and success as a legacy. He and Lakisha are co-founders of the King and Queen Holdings, LLC, which specializes in off-marketing real estate transactions and rental solutions. Shannon is also the founder of Alpha and Omega Hoops, a premier basketball training and development program. He is passionate about mentorship, financial literacy, and building community. Let's welcome Shannon to the show.
Welcome, Shannon. Welcome, Lakisha. All right. So how are you all feeling today?
Excited to be here. Excited to have a conversation.
Feeling great. Definitely excited to be here. This is awesome.
Well, look, we're just so excited that you pressed your way through all this rain. You know, we had great weather we're going to just
here.
But we do have the sunshine in here, right?
Right.
The energy is amazing in here. Just walking in the door.
All right. Well, we appreciate that. Well, let's keep it going. So, Lakisha, I'm going to start with you. So you've made a name for yourself as a top producing realtor at Keller Williams, West Atlanta.
Yes.
I'm a part of Keller Williams, West Atlanta too. But what was basically what you say has been the key to your success?
I would definitely say hard work and consistency more so than anything. I am a pressed down, focus driven person.
Mm-hmm.
So I think my competitive spirit also. I'm very competitive. You put me in any room with anybody, I'm gonna win.
I love it.
That's right.
I love it. I love
And
that
she never met a stranger.
I'm an ultimate networking beast.
I love that. Absolutely. Okay. So I understand that you both currently work together in your real estate investor business. So what was the moment when you both realized, we can do this together, not just in love, but in business? What was that conversation like?
Well, I'll start it off. I've been flipping since 2016, flipping houses, buying investment properties. I have Airbnbs and rentals. And Shannon and I merged together for a repeat of our relationship in 2022.
Oh.
So I'll let you take it from there when you got in on the fun.
It's funny because prior to me and Lakisha reconnecting, I had kind of declared that I wanted to get into real estate.
Oh.
So I had kept in contact with her over the years.
20 years to be exact.
Over 20
we dated 20 years ago.
Absolutely. And
Wow.
I kept in contact with her, and I seen a post of her getting into real estate, and it really, got my attention as far as building wealth. So it was something that I kind of declared before we connected that, hey, it's something I wanted to learn, something I wanted to get into. And then when we reconnected, I was already ready to move forward in that.
I love that. So now this is what this sounds like. You know how sometimes when people say they want to do something together, what's interesting is you already had real estate on your heart. So it wasn't like then when Lakisha came back in your life, you had to say, can I do that? It was more like confirmation, like, yes. See, I like that. So if you're looking for signs sometimes, if I should team up with this person, that's the one thing is, are they asking you to do something that's already been in your spirit to do?
Yeah. And then just full circle, before I moved down here, it was like God had already allowed some things to be orchestrated in my life so that I would be full-fledged into the business. Like my job got snatched from under me. I actually got laid off.
Okay.
So now going into me and her building a business, my attention and my focus was totally on building the business.
That's awesome.
So it just kind of full circle moment right there.
That's awesome. Yeah.
Yeah. So with that, what's one thing as partners that you do in business that absolutely drives the other one crazy? But you know that you need it to succeed?
I'm probably the micromanager. He be like, you don't have to tell me that again. You already told me. I be like, I'm sorry. You know, you be forgetting.
I think we both, because we're very much alike. Both very competitive. I think we both can do that, just depending on what it is in the business.
Okay.
I can kind of micromanage her, and she's like, I got it, or vice versa.
Okay.
So I think we kind of play off of that, but we both know we need that accountability from each other.
Absolutely.
Oh, that's good.
Like we run a successful Airbnb business, and he's maintenance, and I am the person who's customer service.
Gotcha. Okay. Yeah.
Like, did you respond to their message?
Right.
I'm like, give me a second. I'm busy. I'm gonna so he does it for me too.
Okay, but that's good. But I do like the fact that you guys have clear, defined roles.
Mhm.
And do you find that when you do that, that sort of helps you sort of like know what lane to operate in and stay in?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Do y'all ever go in each other's lane?
I would say sometimes
They
it kind of
intersect
cross over
sometimes,
sometimes
yeah.
or
Okay.
whatnot. My background, I'm more strategic, and then I'm more into tech. So even though she posts reels and do things like
He
that
doesn't,
for her personal business, I'm more into that. So I may take that over sometimes,
Mhm.
but I also piggyback and answer for ideals or share things with them and say, hey, what do you think? So it
But
kind
that's
of
good.
plays.
It sounds like you guys play off of each other's strengths. And then when someone is, better at something or more efficient, you utilize your resource.
Absolutely. We stay in our lanes. Like I am, I know the details of pulling comps if we're looking at a house to purchase, but he knows how to go out and garner the relationship to, actually have an opportunity to work a deal. So we both are amazing at staying in our lanes for the most part.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And if it's
That's
something
impressive.
I need to cross train on, that's not what she's doing and show me how to do it. That way I can take lead on it if she's not available or something like that. So we kind of do that as well. So
Okay.
Wow.
Love it.
I love it. So what has been y'all's biggest, we did it moment so far?
I would say Stone Mountain House.
I'll probably go with our recent house that we got.
Yeah. Okay.
Tell us about both. You tell us about Stone Mountain and you tell us about the recent one.
Well, it was our first flip under King and Queen Holdings, which is our company.
Oh.
And we did a beautiful property in Water's Edge in Stone Mountain.
Oh my.
And we made amazing numbers on it.
Wow.
And we really didn't have a big budget to put into it at all. We may have put in $35,000 on this flip.
Mhm.
Just to give you an idea of the numbers, because we're very into the numbers on these deals.
Right.
But we paid about $270 for the house and put in about $35,000 and sold it for $400,000. So
Oh my
that
gosh.
was a $405. Let me
Okay.
get it right.
Wow.
Right.
That's
Yeah.
awesome.
And it went under contract in 3 days. So
What year was this?
This was earlier last year.
Wow.
Mhm.
That's
Even in a tough market, it's
Right.
still, that's great.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
absolutely.
and then you can tell about our most recent.
Okay.
For
Yeah.
sure.
So our most recent accomplishment, our Lauderdale property, it's our first time crowdsourcing. So we got other investors to invest their money for this particular deal.
Our friends and family.
Okay.
Absolutely. So we were able to raise almost $500,000 within, I want to say, 3 days,
Yeah.
What?
72 hours, yeah.
72 hours.
Bought the property, closed within
Oh my gosh.
That is amazing.
So if you don't mind, expound upon crowdsourcing for me and for our viewers. Okay. So what exactly does that mean?
Well, it means absolutely reaching out to friends, family, and those who actually do investing
Mhm.
or they want to grow their portfolio some way.
Mhm.
And you come with them with a project or idea and you say, hey, look, this is what we're doing. This is what you could receive. And you give them an opportunity to review it, to look it over.
Right.
And if they want to be a part of the opportunity, they can invest. And then on the backside, they're going to get a return on that investment, whether that's 30 days, 60 days, 90 days, however you write that up, they're going to get a return on their investment. and then it allows them to grow their money. Real estate is one of the fastest ways to grow your money. So typically, me and Lakisha, we're giving people anywhere from 10 to 15% return on their investment within a 30 to 90 day window if they invest with us on one of our projects.
That's awesome.
Anything you had?
No, that was it. You hit the nail on the head. That's exactly it.
So, would they typically get paid like after the property has to close?
Correct. Okay. Like we hold the funds for however long we hold the property. And they have agreed to a certain timeline where we can purchase the property, do the renovations, and put it back on the market if we're doing a flip.
Gotcha. Yeah. Well, that is nice.
That's great.
Yeah.
And tell us about your investment group that you have formed.
Oh, so I do have an investor cohort at Keller Williams, West Atlanta, where we meet once a month to talk about, I'm really passionate about investing and building wealth and also deciphering multiple streams of income. That's really important to me, especially in the market that we just came out of in real estate. And it's kind of still a roller coaster ride.
Right.
I think you should have other options of where you make your money. So I started an investor cohort where we meet once a month. I have a group of about 40 agents, give or take, that I bring different professionals in to talk about different topics such as hard money lending, acquiring property subject to Airbnb, rooming housing, sourcing. So I bring a montage of topics to the office, and the agents have really thrived from that investor group.
And Dee, I can tell you, I'm one of the newest members in the investor cohort.
I was gonna say, how can I be down? I know it's
y'all's office.
Oh man, you might can be honorary.
Yes, for sure. The next one is in April.
Okay.
So we'll be bringing in a guest speaker. I don't know who just yet, have not gotten that solidified, but we will be bringing in a guest speaker to talk about whatever the topic is for that. Because I had to kind of cut it down for once a quarter because it was getting to be a lot. But we're definitely still doing it for sure.
But it's really good though. I mean, Lakisha, she goes out of her way to like this term. Like I never knew like what subject to is, and what was the topic that novation. So things that like. There's so many ways to acquire property that sometimes you just have to be creative and know that it's out there. And this is a rock star. Rock star. She knows all of this. And she's like this. She's willing to share.
Absolutely. You don't get anything in life by leading with a closed hand. I always give the example. My grandmother, when I was in 4th grade, gave me a penny, put it in my hand and closed it and said, if you lead with a closed hand, nothing can come in, nothing can come out. And she said, you open, everything is always free flowing. And that's the way I feel like my life is being free flowing, by giving information and not being a gatekeeper.
That's awesome.
I love it. And we appreciate you doing that.
Absolutely.
Because a lot of people just don't know how to even get in the real estate game.
Absolutely. And with us, we're so closed off as African American people. Like I don't know why that is the culture. But I am wanting to share the information. And I don't even charge people. Like for all of the stuff I share, and I could make a lot of money. Well, I don't even charge people for it, to be honest with you.
Now, remember, God is not anti-profit, okay? So I'm out as a person who really believes in profit, okay?
But this is my theory behind it. My theory is if I give you the information, and I tell my agents all the time, hey, I'm going to give you these free training classes in this investor cohort. But if you get an opportunity to do a deal, let's partner on it, because you need mentorship anyway, because you probably don't know what you're doing. We partner on it and we split it down the middle. So I make way more money doing that than charging you $500 a month to coach you.
Collaboration over competition.
Absolutely.
Right. I love that.
Now, I'm going to tell you, that truly is the essence of our office. We have such a collaborative spirit. I mean, with everything, knowledge, deals. I mean, I love it.
We definitely garnered that office to be that way, because we came from, me and the other owners came from offices where information was freely shared. And that's the culture of Keller Williams. It's freely share information. Each one help one,
And that's great. And that is really good. So I wanted to ask you guys, in your experience, what are the biggest myths about couples working together?
A lot of people can't work with their spouse. They be ready to fight. If something go wrong at work, they arguing about it in the house.
I would say balance.
Okay.
You know, a lot of people think that's going to mess with their balance in a relationship. But, you know, intimacy starts with communication. And, you know, if you can work together in business, you can pretty much accomplish anything because we're very transparent with each other. And sometimes we have to have hard or tough conversations. Those hard or tough conversations transfer over to your relationship. It makes it a little bit easier for you to kind of talk about finances or an idea or, hey, I was thinking about this way, you know, versus, you know, having an attitude or a business runner about something not going the way that you want.
So. Okay. And we have a very zenful relationship between us. We have fun. We laugh together. It's just a good time most of the time. We have peace.
That's good.
You know, and it transfers over to our business. Like, do we agree on everything? No, but we are able to, you know, express our opinions to one another. Like he said, have very transparent conversations and still be all right. What you having for dinner? You know what I'm saying?
or just go shoot some pool, you know?
Yeah, go shoot some pool. And like, cause we both very competitive. So, we work together very well.
Well, that's good.
And I'm sure like it's a motivating for each other because as entrepreneurs, we all know in this room that you can have your up and your down days. And so sometimes when you see your spouse or your significant other just grinding or, you know, hey, I got an idea that may work for you or you guys are able to have those conversations. I'm sure that helps with the relationship or just in general.
Absolutely.
The friendship, the intimacy, the depth of the relationship.
I jump on him a lot because my clients wear me out. So.
We're going to edit that.
So now, but Dee, now you have experience with that too, because you and your husband do a lot of business together too.
We do. Yeah. And, it's been we're kind of creeping back in this. So for us, it has been a cycle. And so now we're actually working on a real estate, fix and flip. And so now we're doing business together. So it's funny because it got to a point where, in our previous businesses on our date nights, we would be talking business. So if you were listening in on us, you would be like, do they talk about business the whole time? Do they actually like each other? But really, it was the only time that we had in a day to actually have those tough conversations and work through some things.
It's work-life integration. I mean,
and I know everybody says balance and all that, but I'm at a space this just in my life that one doesn't come without the other.
Absolutely.
I cannot say
That's
that.
why you got to integrate the two.
Right.
It ain't no doubt. It's like you got to integrate the two and figure out how to make it all work.
And just depending on the season, like you may be doing something a little bit more. You may be doing 80% of this for this particular season or for this particular week.
Yep.
You know, that's just how it goes when you're an entrepreneur. So.
That's right.
Yep.
That's right.
Yep. And that is so cool. Well, I want to transition a little bit from now your investor business to something that you guys got coming up in the close near future. And that is, I understand you guys are going to be stepping into the podcast world.
We are coming into the podcast.
Welcome.
We're coming in hot.
Well, we love it. We love it. So tell us about your upcoming podcast. We understand the name is Realovestate. You got it? Realovestate. So what inspired you all to launch that and what can listeners expect?
Would you like to tell people?
Yeah, I'll start it off and you can piggyback. I would just say just through conversations that we had in our intimate quarters, and we wanted to kind of bring people into kind of some of the conversations that we have when it revolves around business, faith, God, working together as a couple, and then just hearing the echoes of our friends and family, you know, the things that they would say to us, just anywhere me and Keisha go, we have an impact. We leave an impact on people. And we've been taking all that stuff in.
That's great.
And so the idea of the podcast actually came when I first moved down here. And I told her about it. And then the manifestation of it and just the fruition of it just came to pass this past December when we started filming.
That's awesome.
Yeah, and we're passionate about educating people. We, like I said, work well together. We know the intricacies of fixing and flipping. So we just want to have conversations and bring things to people, and also talk about relationships and how to have a godly relationship, or at least try to be on the path.
Right.
Because you hear so many things on like Instagram and TikTok, these people with these relationships, and I'm like, whoa, what?
Yeah. If it ain't easy, I don't want it.
Right. So we just want to give a different perspective. You know, God is the head of our life, and then comes our family, and then business. So we just want to lead from that perspective in our conversation.
And I mean, I'm sure you have a lot of knowledge to give other people. And kind of to your point earlier, the information is free. Yeah. So why am I gatekeeping? You can just bless somebody.
I have no need. We have no need to gatekeep. Absolutely. We are very blessed. So we want to share and help people.
And that's great. I think that's a great posture to be in. So I want to know, for my viewers out there, I'll ask, I know you want me to. So what's the dynamics behind the mic? So who's the straight shooter and who's the peacemaker?
That's a good question.
We both kind of direct.
Yeah, we both are direct. I would say it just depends on the situation, honestly.
I think he's probably a little bit more mild than me. I'm probably like, I go in. I'm real direct, especially he make me upset. But we
don't want Keisha to get triggered.
I'm super competitive, so I hate to lose. So I could probably maybe get a little beside myself.
Yeah.
A little bit when I'm losing. And then she'll come in and be like, hey, just calm down.
And he hate when I say that. He said he's just calm.
Oh my gosh. Oh my goodness.
That's like we both do that to each other.
Right. when if I find like my significant other getting a little upset, and then I try to say, okay, calm down. He says, now you don't have to talk to me like I'm a child. He doesn't see it as though like I'm using de-escalation technique. He goes all the way down to like, do you think I'm a 5-year-old? I mean,
I say the same thing to him. Like I'm 5.
So, C-Bae, everybody goes through that.
Absolutely.
It's very common. I'll be like, I'm an adult. I am grown.
Every day. Pedal to the medication. That's what I call it. Highway.
We're going to put that hashtag on the lower third.
Oh, man. What? Pedal to the metal?
He does calm me down and like make me chill. Like he'll see me having a hard day on the phone or something, or a hard conversation with a client or something. He going to come over, rub my back, and we're going to have a conversation about it. So he probably is the more calming.
Okay.
Definitely more calm.
That's really sweet. Okay, so see, I know you have an A personality, and so I know. Oh gosh, yes, definitely.
Sweet and nice though.
I'm A personality, and I'm sweet and nice, but that doesn't make me not an A personality. Right. But that just means that you got that that driven, that tiger spirit, and whatnot. But Shannon, it's interesting to me is you don't have an A personality, but you said you like winning.
Absolutely.
Very much so.
Absolutely. My background being an athlete.
Okay.
Growing up playing sports and stuff like that, super aggressive. I just think through life experience, I've learned to kind of mock and mirror a little bit more in relationships, just because I'm able to persuade and influence a lot better that way. That's something that I just kind of took in as I learned, being in tech space and being in corporate America, how to match and mirror people.
There you go.
Kind of what they're giving off. So.
Right. Oh, see that. I love it.
So let me ask you this. What's one, let's call it love language, that shows up in your business dealings with each other as you interact?
I would definitely say acts of service. I love serving him, and he loves serving me. So acts of service for sure.
That is so sweet.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
I think that's something that we both do a lot, and then we give it off as well to other people. So,
absolutely.
That is good. Yeah. One of my pastor had actually mentioned at a, I think it was a couples retreat. It might have been a singles retreat, but one of the things that he said that you need to look within. And if you want a successful marriage, if you're not a serving person,
It's not going to work.
It's not going to be, because marriage should be all about you serving one another.
Yeah.
And so I really like hearing that. That means that you're on your way. That's the first recipe. You got that first ingredient of the recipe.
It's happening this year. It's happening this year.
I'm loving it. I'm loving it.
And I was going to say on that too, in the business world, we all know that, in real estate, when you come from a space of being a servant to your client or your customer.
That's right.
I think people want to see value from us in that space. Well, and it's exhausting.
It is.
Oh, yes.
I know. But, when you come from a place of how can I assist you or help you or reach your goals, that's what people enjoy about the job.
Absolutely. And when you're dealing with a person as sweet as he is and just as loving and intentional, it's easy to be that way, seriously.
Good.
That's
well,
really
congratulations
nice.
this year.
Congratulations.
Can't wait to witness these nuptials.
Wow. We are so excited. Yes. But, one of the things when you say that the serving, you were also, both of you, in corporate America. And, one of the, I guess, most successful leadership styles is being a servant leader.
Absolutely.
And so
That's
basically that probably came natural to you. And so it was just a natural transition over to real estate and then over to your relationship.
Absolutely. Exactly right.
Yep. Because I've always tried to be a servant leader, meaning I found my employees really like it when instead of me just delegating everything, roll up your sleeves and do it sometime. Get in the trenches.
Oh,
Absolutely.
I mean, we spend most of all our time together, right? So who better else to serve or to have that type of mentality than Lakisha, my girl, my woman.
I love it.
Yeah, we find that a lot of couples don't even be nice to one another.
Well, see, oh my gosh.
It's like, how are you with somebody you mean to?
Oh my gosh. Say that again.
Exactly.
You need to be nice to each other. Be nice.
Right.
My grandmother talks about the word nice. My grandmother used to always tell us that while it's nice to be important, it's more important to be nice.
Absolutely.
And that being nice will usher you into so many rooms. Sometimes you may not even, you couldn't even get into, like, because I'm considered a nice person, I've been invited to go to board meetings or networking functions, or your name will come up in a room that you're not even in. But that's what you want to happen, because it's impossible to be everywhere. But one of the biggest compliments to me somebody can make is they are mentioning you because they love how they dealt with you. Then I remember I had an old manager that used to say, now, you won't always be the sharpest knife in the drawer, meaning you won't have the best skills, but guess what? You can be in control of, nobody's going to out nice me, and everything. So.
Yeah. And I think it brings me back to something I heard, a sermon about, what do you want to be known for in your dash? And it's about how I made people feel while I was here on earth.
Yep.
And going back to being nice and kind, how you show up. Like, people not going to remember that I did $5 million in sales in 2025.
Right.
That's the goal. But they're going to remember how they felt when we were doing those deals and those transactions.
Absolutely.
And so I say that to say, like, to your point, just being nice to each other and kind and thoughtful sometimes takes you a lot further.
Oh my
and
gosh.
It takes so much energy. I don't know. I'm not typically a mean person, but it just seemed like people with the frowned up face, it takes too much energy to be frowned up.
And mad about everything.
And mad about everything.
Like, why?
That just seems like that just zaps the energy out of the room.
You never know what people are going through, and just to look at them and smile, you just do not know what that does for people sometimes.
That's absolutely.
That's right.
That is so true. I absolutely love that.
Well, that's a great transition into my next question about what do you guys do for fun? So since you love each other, enjoy spending time, this business can be crazy. So what do you guys do together for fun, to unwind, self-care, things like that?
One of our favorite, I would say, pastimes. When we first met, she was at the radio station as a program manager, I believe. And we used to go to a lot of concerts, R&B concerts, live music concerts, just chilling, vibing, laughing and enjoying each other. And that was one of the first things we actually did when I circled back and I came up here from Indianapolis. We went to a concert. So it was a nostalgic moment. So that's something we still enjoy.
That's nice.
And then pool.
Pool for sure. We are avid pool players.
Okay.
We were in a league this past year.
What do y'all play?
What did we play? APA or just
No, where? I mean, where? Are
where?
you? Mhm.
We were playing at the Independent. We played at the Tavern in Hateville, Corner Tavern in Hateville. So we play all over Mr. Q's. We go out there every now and again. So.
I've been to Mr. Q's a lot with my significant other. You know, his picture is up on the wall.
Oh, well, that's
Shout out to Mr. Q's.
Yeah.
Mr. Q's, we're looking for sponsors for this year. So Mr. Q's, come through.
Yeah, we are giving Mr. Q some free publicity.
Come on.
So if you have some sponsorship dollars, please consider Boomlennial Podcast.
There you go. There you go. And I like to unwind a lot. So we go get massages a lot. It just helps with the stress and, helps to tone out anxiety. So we do a lot of massages and we travel a lot together.
Good for you.
That's great.
Once the weather break, we'll walk a lot on the belt line. That's something we love to do. So, and during that time, we talk about a lot of different things, unpack, unload, and just get it out there, So
somebody told me when you needed to have not you specifically, Shannon, but anybody, if you need to have like a tough conversation or just kind of a good way to get somebody to talk is to walk and talk.
Absolutely.
So because it's a relaxed feeling, it's a slower pace, and so if you have a conversation while walking, you will typically get more information.
Really?
I agree with that.
Okay, well, I'm going to have to try that because, see, usually when I'm doing any type of exercise, I don't generally want to talk. I'm really focused on my body, and it's like it's slowing me down because I'm power walking. But
but
I like that idea of, so I don't have to always power walk. Yeah. A stroll would be nice.
Nice stroll with your significant other so y'all can walk and talk and enjoy nature.
Because if you start power walking, Keisha will tell you, she said, hey, now you know.
My legs are short. Like, slow down.
Oh my gosh. Okay. So that, I appreciate that. That's a nugget for me. I got that. So I'm going to definitely try that. So if you guys had to describe Realovestate in 3 words, what 3 words would probably come to mind?
God, family, business. That's what it's all about.
God, family, business. I love it.
Yeah.
What a beautiful order. So that's a beautiful order. So that's a blessed order too. Okay.
Thank you. We receive it.
I love it. I love it. So D,
do you hear that sound?
I do.
It's our ATL segment.
Ask the leaders. Yes, this is the part of the show where we take a question straight from our Yes, this is a part of the show where we take a question straight from our profit box submitted by one of you, our amazing viewers. So, Dee, what do we have today? And let's actually, we're going to give the honors to Shannon to actually open up our Shannon. What did we say that was?
Okay, the profit box.
Right.
Profitable service.
There we go.
What we got?
So you can either read the questions or you're going to give it to Dee.
Okay, I'm going to read it to you. Okay.
All
right. So this is Brenda from Decatur, Georgia. Decatur, where is greater?
Decatur, where is greater?
Are you from Decatur?
No, I'm from Swats,
Okay.
Southwest Atlanta.
Okay.
Love it. Okay. Dear Chi and Dee, I love tuning into your podcast and always walk away with valuable nuggets of wisdom. Thanks for sharing such great insights. Thanks, Brenda.
Thank you, Brenda.
My question is, what is one piece of advice, and this is for you all, that you would give to couples who are thinking about going into business together?
First thing I would say, make sure y'all work well together. Like you get along. Because it starts at home.
That's right. That's right.
I would say definitely have a vision, incorporate each other in that vision. And communication has to be at a very, very high level. Transparency.
That's right.
Yes, and define roles. Like who is doing what. So y'all don't bump heads, and y'all are double, crossing each other up. So define your roles in the business.
And,
Okay.
and
I like
understanding each of those roles, you are your own CEO. Yeah, coming together. She's a boss. I'm a boss. We're coming together to make this work. So if you keep that in mind and keep you humble and working together. So
I love that.
I really love that. And everything. And believe it or not, that's always been one of my visions, is that me and my significant other can have a venture that we do something together.
That's awesome.
You know, so anyway.
The shade.
Viewers, they're laughing because my significant other is actually here, and I looked over at him. So, okay. So, Dee, you want to take a stab at that too? What do you think about that question?
I would say,
I think that's a great question.
Y'all hit on a lot of good points.
You did.
I would say also establishing some boundaries in it. Mm-hmm. So as you're communicating, what works well for who and how things are received. And, you know, there may be, I know for us, we had to get to a point where some conversations, we just had to keep them, you know, not when you're brushing your teeth in the morning and somebody asks you, well, what did we net on this project? And you like,
I can see Jamal doing
oh yeah.
Oh yeah, I was good for so like we get ready to go to bed and I asked a tough question. He's like, why did you ask me that first time we go to sleep?
But I think also for me, just even in that, knowing my significant other and learning that, you know, that's just their personality and setting some boundaries. Okay, you know, maybe that wasn't the appropriate at 7 a.m., but maybe if we talk about that at 10, I'll have a more concrete answer for you, right? So some parameters, I would say the rules of engagement.
There you go.
But no, like I think you guys hit on all the main points to running a successful business. And then I think also, I don't know if you all have had to, either sell a business, get out of something, or move on to something else, but just kind of having a plan of exit. I think that's the thing we learned in some of our ventures is, you know, nobody thinks about the exit plan or when you're going to sell that asset or move on to something else. So incorporating that into the conversation.
Absolutely. With us being in real estate and us flipping and doing buy and holds, that's the first thing we think of. How are we going to get out of this property? Are we going to flip it, wholesale it, keep it as a potential Airbnb or short-term rental? Like, what's our exit strategy? So we have that mapped out before we go in.
That's great.
Yeah,
that's great.
I love that. Well, thank you all so much for sharing with that.
Thank you for having us. This is
right.
awesome.
absolutely. This is a blessing.
Well, we are excited. Wow. And I just wanted to just say, well, thank you, Brenda, that's an awesome, awesome question. That was from Decatur. Where was she from?
Decatur.
Okay. Thank you again. You want to tell our listeners about if they want to ask a question?
Yeah. So if you want to ask a question on Boomlennial Podcast, I want you to send us an email. We typically try to pick a listener every month from our email box. So you want to go to CHEEANDEE, so CHEEANDEE @gmail.com. We love listener feedback. We love listener letters, and you all have the best questions. So please send us an email with your questions for our upcoming episodes.
Wow. Well, Dee, this was another powerful episode. So to our dynamic power couple, Shannon and Lakisha, thank you guys so much for bringing the heat and sharing such great nuggets and gems with us. We really do love you and we appreciate that.
No, we feel the same.
Thank you. And if there's anything that we can do to aid and assist you as you're, getting your podcast up and going, please know that we're here to help. Okay.
Absolutely. I just want to tell your listeners, listen out for Realovestate, our podcast coming to you soon.
Yay. Say it again.
Realovestate. It's coming soon.
I love it. So remember, we drop new episodes of the Boomlennial Podcast on the 2nd and 4th Tuesday of each month, 8:00 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So set your reminders. And next time, we're bringing you new leadership, new challenges, entrepreneurs speak out. And trust me, you don't want to miss it.
So I want to encourage everyone listening today and viewing us to please follow us on all social media platforms. So that's Boomlennial Podcast. We have our website, we have YouTube, Facebook, Instagram. I encourage you to go in and subscribe. One of our challenges coming up is that we may be giving away some things for some of our subscribers. So stay tuned for that. And I want to give this lovely couple a chance to tell us how to follow you and be a part of your community.
Oh, absolutely. You want to give them our...
Absolutely. You can follow us on IG, that's Instagram, at Realovestate. Also on Facebook, same Realovestate. TikTok, Realovestate. And if you have any questions or if you have any feedback or any ideas, you can send them our way at our email at reallovestate@gmail.com.
Right. Thank you for that. So until next time,
hold on. And by the way, when Dean mentioned our website, that website is Boomlennial Podcast.us. And that's BOOMLENNIAL Podcast.us. You can actually go onto the website and contact us. Send us a message. We'd love to connect with you. Okay?
Thank you, Chi.
You're welcome.
So until next time, keep pushing, keep growing, keep grinding, and remember,
shine bright and do business right. Bye.